Good morning, welcome to Your Pet Matters. I'm your host, Michael, Dr. T. Tequila, and we're also recording for the Collaborative Vet podcast. I always like telling stories that have happened to me that I think are relevant to what's going on at this point in time. This weekend, took a nice drive in the sun and decided to go for a drink of, I had sparkling water. I was going for a coffee, but instead I had to close that door, but instead decided to get a drink of sparkling water and sitting out in the sun outside in front. And this place is pretty close to my practice, and everywhere I go I always see pets, and so I always start conversations. So this really cool senior dog comes walking out the door of the establishment and comes over to me, and I say hi, and his name's Lucky, and you start up a conversation with the pet parent, and he mentions that Lucky just visited his vet that day and got a whatever was done. I don't like asking, but as I'm petting Lucky, I'm checking him out, right? Make sure there's no lumps or bumps. I'm looking at him. He's actually for a 12-year-old pit cross. He had that senior muzzle, the gray look and everything like that. His muscle mass was pretty good. And I'm looking at his back legs, especially, seeing everything is. I didn't see any masses on him. He had pretty bad dental disease, but we got talking about diet, and I guess I started it because I asked him. I said, literally, is he on a senior diet? And you learn a lot about our profession based on simple questions. And I came up with a synopsis of this discussion, thinking about what key points can I talk about. I'm going to talk about two things. Number one is opportunities, and number two is our responsibilities in this profession. And so just by talking to people when there's pets around is an opportunity. An opportunity, in my case, I like to educate. And so it's an opportunity to educate. And the owner of Lucky said, "What do you mean?" when I talked about nutrition. And so I said, well, there's senior diets designed for pets. And so I let him talk, and he was talking about how, so I just decided to switch him to grain diet because, he's been on grain free for a while. Opportunity. I said to him, it's not fully analyzed, but the general consensus in the profession is that grain-free diets, there's a link between cardiomyopathy and grain-free diets. Again, a look of shock came on his face. And I continue with my discussion talking about my view about pet foods. And I know it's probably going to create a lot of issue, but I talked about how things aren't as regulated as we would want. And that, in my opinion and how I feel, is I like the companies that, let me put it this way. I always put the discussion towards, I said, inevitably in your pet's life, they're going to have a medical condition that requires some form of nutritional support. And that's when most veterinarians turn towards the companies that do the research and development, and they're the ones who produce the prescription diets is what is hitting my mind. I can't remember how we need to word that better, but it's inevitably that's what your veterinarian recommends. And of that, I told him the brands of food, and that's what I stick with. But the whole discussion, so it got me thinking. I'm thinking, okay, he just visited his veterinarian, and a missed opportunity was nutritional support. I mean, one of the things we should be doing in the profession is getting a weight. Now, Lucky looked great for his age. He's a very active dog. Number two, unlike Lucky, many pets are overweight, and we have to talk about kilocalorie. We have to talk about nutritional balance. And number three, as a senior pet, there's a plethora of opportunities to talk about things. And then I asked him, I go, is he on any supplements? Again, no. And again, to me, it's an opportunity and a responsibility. It's an opportunity for us to, the number one thing is patient care. So it's an opportunity for us to think about what is the best patient care. In this case, for Lucky, a senior dog. What is the best patient care for him? When a senior dog walks in, we're going to be talking about, at the bare minimum, senior things, which is nutritional support, which is joint supplementation, which would be senior wellness blood work, and everything else. And the conversation then shifted, and he got distracted. Another person came up and said that she was a veterinary technician and blah, 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 and started saying things. And then another person came out, and she said, I'm really not a dog person. But she allowed Lucky to go up to him. And I had to make the comment. She goes, I'm a cat. I go, you're a cat person, right? She goes, yeah, because I could see that she's a cat person. But her sister goes, but I'm a dog person. And so it was really interesting. And I thanked the cat person lady for allowing Lucky to come up. I said, because most cat people don't like the dogs coming up. But she goes, he was on a leash, so that was good, I said. So as you can see, the whole conversation goes. But the things I was thinking opportunities. How many missed opportunities do we have in the veterinary profession to discuss for the betterment of patient care? So in Lucky's case, I was thinking of a zillion things. I was thinking, okay, he's telling me Lucky goes out a lot, goes on a lot of nature walks. I'm thinking, what vaccines is this dog on? Because it's an opportunity to talk about leptospirosis vaccine. It's an opportunity to talk about Lyme vaccine in my neck of the woods. Then I looked at his teeth. Opportunity. I was hoping that he would say, yeah, my vet recommended getting a dental. This dog needs a dental cleaning, guaranteed. Dental cleaning, those teeth were pretty caked in tartar, and that would then lead to the better longevity of this pet. And then I didn't even get into blood work. I guess in my personality trait is judgmental. In my judgmental personality trait, I was thinking, listen, they're not even talking about supplements and nutrition. Are they even talking about wellness, blood work, and everything like that? It's one thing for a client, pet parent, to decline medical recommendations, which is fine. And I don't want to get into why people decline. It's really up to them. There's a plethora of reasons why they'll decline. But it is our obligation and our responsibility to talk about the best medical wellness for that pet, to offer nutritional guidance, to offer senior wellness plans, to offer a dental cleaning, to offer the proper vaccine protocols. It is our obligation. I always tell my team, and I learned this from one of my mentors, offer the best and let the client decide, which is a great segue to talk about the next part that I want to talk about as far as an opportunity goes. But I think that there's lots of opportunities here. And then things like tick and flea prevention. In my neck of the woods, they have to be on 12 months a year. And so these are tons of opportunities that I think were potentially lost on Lucky. And the new stuff like cancer screening tests, those are new opportunities to allow for us to create better human-animal bond relationships for longevity of the pet to increase patient care.